This is about punishing them being the left. That actually, I think, is surprising to a lot of Americans, because that's not typically what you would expect to hear from the White House after
Well, let's
like
talk
this.
about some polling that he used to justify those comments before he made them on TV. YouGov came out with a poll 3 days ago talking about how each side feels about violence and support of political deaths. Liberals, 16% believe it's okay to feel joy when your political opponent is killed. Liberals, very liberals, 24%. Conservatives, 4%. Very conservatives, 3%. Justifying violence. Very liberal people have 25% answered yes, it's okay, you're justified to do violence against your political opponents. Liberals, 17%, conservatives, 8%, and very conservatives, 3%.
How much more evidence do you need? How much more evidence needs to be revealed that there is a serious problem within the Democratic Party? Now notice, I did not refer to them as deacons at Woke United Methodist like I usually do, because at this point, they're basically one and the same. There is one party in this country that seems to condone violence. There is one party in this country that believes it's acceptable to celebrate an American patriot's death. There is one party in this country that refuses to have children of their own. They teach women that getting married and having children is no bueno, but they're overly eager to indoctrinate your kids. There is one party in this country that believes men can become women. There is one party who believes that it's perfectly normal to marry your emotional support wiener that's attached to your inflatable Tina. There is one party in this country that actively promotes evil. And there is one party, or at least a sizable portion of the Democratic Party, where there is no more tolerance. There is no more, boys will be girls. It's just the wanker spankers. It's just lonely men being miserable. They don't mean anything they say. There are no more excuses. Enough is enough. I don't know how much clearer the message could be. Normal people have sent a clear message. If you don't believe me, go ask all the virgins on Reddit who have recently been fired from their minimum wage jobs. Yet, for some reason, the mainstream media is having a hard time either understanding or comprehending the message. I'm sure you noticed in the clip, there was not a single woke welfare collector at CNN that refuted those claims. Why? Because it is impossible to argue, at least effectively, with the truth. Abby Phillip is no dummy. Abby Phillip is an intelligent woman, which means one of two things are true. She is either living in denial, she refuses to believe the evidence, she refuses to believe a sizable portion of the Democratic Party thinks political violence is acceptable, or, and I think this is the most likely reason, Abby Phillip and other woke welfare collectors at CNN, they refuse to acknowledge it because they're being paid not to. They refuse to acknowledge it because it's their job to disguise the truth. It's their job to polish the turd. To make matters worse, they're also claiming that Tyler Robinson was a Trump supporter. And once that myth was easily busted, they're now trying to get us to sympathize with Charlie Kirk's killer. Oh, guys, this was just a transgender love story gone wrong. I love you, you love me. What happened to your weenie? Watch for yourself.
About a love-torn child, a kid. This is probably his first real relationship, and somebody was disparaging the person that he loved. He sat on that building for 30 minutes before he took the shot. Why did he wait until the first word trans came up? Then he took the shot. I don't believe he was motivated politically. I think this was motivated emotionally.
Said
Charlie Kirk, I can't stand this hate anymore. I'm going to take him out. The testimony from him and the statements of his family, he had become more left-wing. He etched the statements that are made by the left about Republicans and conservatives and Charlie Kirk, fascist, on the bullet casings.
He made a joke about it in his last text.
Well, it doesn't sound like a joke to me because someone's dead.
First of all, I am happy to see that CNN finally found Montel Williams and he's alive and well. He also looks great for his age. I think Montel's probably close to 70 years old by now. For those that don't know, Montel Williams has been missing for, 20, 30 years. Hell, Uncle KC hasn't seen Montel Williams since the 90s when he was hosting that doofus talk show. For decades, Montel's face has been on the missing persons report right next to the unknown dump divers in the WNBA. So I am glad to see that Montel Williams has been found. All kidding aside, Scott Jennings is truly an American hero. I am a real American. There is a reason that I refer to Scott Jennings as the American hero. I don't know how he does it. I don't know how he sits on that panel every night and listens to the musings of these maniacs. I feel bad for Tyler Robinson. He was a love-torn teenager dealing with strong emotions. When I was 22 years old, you know what I did when I was dumped? You know what I did when I had a fight with a girlfriend? I went and bought a 12-pack of beer and some other magical substances, and I forgot all about it. You know what I did not do? I didn't steal my grandfather's rifle. I didn't climb a 2 or 3 story building and point the scope at an American patriot. I didn't take out my emotions on an innocent husband and father. I'm tired of the excuses. There is no more compassion for criminals. Make sure to like and subscribe. You can follow me on Twitter at KC_BTL84. Link to the second channel's in the description below. I promise the mood was much lighter on the second channel today. Talked about Molly Qerim abruptly quitting ESPN. I provide a potential reason for Molly Qerim's departure from the worldwide leader in woke. I also explain why Molly Qerim is in for a very rude awakening. So if you need a temporary distraction from all the seriousness, click the link in the description below, subscribe to the second channel. Last night, Kaitlan Collins, Katie Roo! Last night, the girl named Rue had Ted Cruz on her primetime dump. I have no idea why Teddy continues to agree to appear on this show. Maybe he was feeling generous, so he gave Rue the toxically masculine attention that she desires. Maybe he wanted to test some radical new ideas, so he decided to test out the ideas on a platform that he knew no one was watching. Whatever the reason, Ted and his nice beard, they spent a few minutes with Rue. The conversation started with Ted explaining how one group in this country is responsible for most of the political violence. One group in this country is responsible for carrying out acts of domestic terrorism. For the first time, possibly ever, Rue did not have a response. She didn't have some snarky rebuttal, mainly because it's hard to come up with a rebuttal to the truth. Ted Cruz then explained the transgender connection to the shooting, which Katie Rue tried to dispute. Once again, she had a hard time disputing that point because it was true. But then, they started talking about motive. The girl named Rue claimed, "We don't have a motive." Naturally, Ted Cruz was dumbfounded. Initially, though, he was willing to give Rue the benefit of the doubt. Perhaps Rue had been hypnotized by the poo that is prevalent throughout CNN. But then, Kaitlan Collins tried to change her statement. She even went as far as to say that she did not say what she had just said. Watch for yourself.
We don't have a motive yet. We don't know yet. We're waiting. Obviously, we've heard what the governor's had to say, what the FBI director said today.
Come on, we don't have a motive yet.
We know.
We don't have a motive yet.
What's
really?
happening with?
Really, that's CNN's position.
I mean, from law enforcement,
he just happened
Senator.
to fire the gun in celebration. You can't tell the motive.
Senator, that's not what I said. And I said law enforcement hasn't laid out a direct motive. They've laid out a lot of evidence here of these messages and what
actually
the
they
shooter
have.
said
They've
to
said that
family
he was a
members
left-wing
and to
activist who hated
roommates.
Charlie Kirk.
Senator, with all due respect, you know exactly what I'm saying. I'm not arguing with you politically. I'm saying that law enforcement has not put a specific motive. You know that there's a difference of what they're putting in a legal argument than what you're talking about. And you're not even we're not even arguing about the facts here.
What you just said is false.
You know, I almost feel bad for Rue. This poor woman. She's constantly embarrassed by the Trumper. She is constantly embarrassed on her own show. After a while, you would think that Kaitlan Collins would get tired of being humiliated. But I'm starting to wonder if she actually likes it. I'm starting to wonder if she humiliates herself to generate interest to her and attention to her primetime dump. The only time I hear anything about Kaitlan Collins is when she's looking like a fool. The problem is, the humiliation is not translating into ratings. Last month was a ratings nightmare at CNN. Kaitlan Collins, the supposed face of the network, last month, the girl named Rue averaged 470,000 viewers. She is competing with Beavis and Butthead on Comedy Central. CNN is on life support. This network is literally dying. And for some reason, they keep doing the same thing. They keep featuring the same people who can't draw flies to a fresh turd. They keep spreading the same lies. They keep pushing the same propaganda. And they wonder why no one is watching. Earlier today, we talked about Jim Kimmel. About an hour after the video was released, it was announced that Jim Kimmel was potentially being investigated by the FCC. Brendan Carr, the dude that runs the FCC, he announced that he was looking into Jim Kimmel based on the monologue that we talked about earlier this morning. Jim Kimmel claimed that Tyler Robinson was a Trump supporter. Now, Brendan Carr, he's a smart dude. You see, he's not going after Jim Kimmel personally. He's going after the affiliates who carry the show. For example, the local affiliate in New York City is ABC7. The local affiliate in New Orleans is WGNO. The FCC knows that Jim Kimmel is not going to change. But if you go after the ABC affiliates and they think it's too risky to broadcast his show, they will yank him off the air. But KC, they are silencing Jim Kimmel. This is a violation of the First Amendment. No, when you are broadcasting over FCC airwaves, also known as government airwaves, public airwaves, you have a responsibility. You have an obligation to operate in the public's interest. I'm pretty sure blatantly lying is not in the public's interest. But Casey, this is a comedy show. No, Jim Kimmel and Stevie Colbert proved a long time ago they are political shows. So they did this to themselves. Anyway, sound off in the comments below. I'll see you guys tomorrow.